Hello, welcome to excuse me, the season finale to Overclock Showcase. What the hell does that mean? Well, I don't 100% know. The main thing I know that we're covering today the last of the new Overclocks in season 5. Although of course this is kind of a bonus episode in a way, because this is of course the reworked Micro-Conductor add-on, or rather the reworked turret arc for the Stubby. The Overclock that used to be turret arc is now Micro-Conductor add-on, or MCAO, MCAO. Don't think there's actually a great acronym for this. Anyway, so this was actually an interesting journey. It's almost surprising that this didn't happen in the November maintenance update when the Stubby got its mod overhaul. But basically, what happened is they tried to fix, because I think Turret Arc did get buffed in the update anyway. Over time, they've tried to fix Turret Arc, and I mean fix. It's never actually been particularly broken in terms of like not working properly. It's kind of just been broken in the sense that it's just terrible, which is a real shame. And to be honest, I never really respected Turret Arc because Turret EM Discharge was always inherently better. And I didn't like the fact that both the Stubby's unstable overclocks were dedicated to the turrets. That hasn't exactly changed because MCA still does exactly what Turret Arc did. It just had some stuff added to it in Season 5, which is of course the ability to electrocute platforms, which is the main feature now, let's be honest. And it's something I've always wanted. I mean, ages ago, you can check one of the first Overclock workshops that we did. So it's a pretty early video in the channel. You'd actually be able to find it quickly by filtering videos by oldest. The Stubby Overclock workshop that we did, I proposed a Stubby Overclock called Platform Guy. And basically what it did, it made it so that you gain different effects by shooting platforms based on your tier 5 mods. This was in a time when the tier 5 mods were only this one and this one. And basically, if you have Electric Arc, it would basically do exactly what this does. So I was actually ahead of the game there. And if it was this one, it would actually make the melt. It would actually melt the puddles into corrosive goo. So yeah. Who knows what it would have done with the accuracy mod? Didn't have that at the time. But it looks like the better part of that, which is the electrocuting platforms, made itself into the game, and now we have MCA. And I'm very thankful that we do, because MCA is a pretty awesomely powerful overclock. I'm really happy about it. It's very clear to me this is where the effort went for the Stubby in Season 5. Hyperalloy Assembly is kind of an afterthought, and it's good. Hyperalloy Assembly is absolutely fine. It should be higher weak point bonus. It should be like plus 50%, I think, to make it worth it. Then we'd actually be talking. That would be something to remark at. And the reason why it needs that, and the Smart Rifle, it's actually fine with Executioner as an unstable, is because the Stubby is just pretty weak at base. So if you want a weak point overclock, you've got to bump that weak point damage up by a lot, Anyway, MCA is today's subject. So what was really difficult was actually coming up with two distinct builds to show you today, and I knew that it was going to come down to the secondary, and they could have easily been on the same weapon. So this is actually what the other build is, but we're going to be starting with this one. The other build is this one. The only difference there is the secondary that we're using and the grenade. The actual way the Stubby's built is exactly the same. So I'm going to go through the tiers on the Stubby to just help you understand how you're supposed to be using it, really. Obvious thing, platform should be built like this every time. The only argument I would say is possibly magazine size, but that kind of falls away when we use Born Ready, which is also very important. I'll explain that in short order as well. But Stubby itself, electrocution in tier 1, obviously. So the electrocution of the platforms and the turrets is based on your electrocution chance. So we are obviously taking this upgrade. It doubles the efficiency of this overclock. It's simple. Tier 2 recoil dampener. Now this is more up to you. I think there's genuinely an argument for all three. I personally have just found recoil dampener to be the most consistent, because it just makes it a bit easier to use. Although I think for the sake of differentiation, I actually am going to differentiate. So we're actually going to take magazine sights in this one. The other one is still a recoil, and I'm not going to change that. Just makes a bit more sense here. Gives us a bit more to work with, especially when we have a such a single shot weapon in our secondary slot. Tier 3 ammo, that's obvious. Damage is actually, it's not that stupid, especially because the overclock does not actually reduce damage, which means taking damage would actually be not that stupid. And one of the reasons is also that the overclock is so ammo efficient, that it's not a terrible idea to have the stubby sort of as a backup, sort of just sidearm as well. But it still is, even without taking the extra damage. I'm much more comfortable with ammo. That is something that I could have possibly changed, you know. Actually, am I gonna do it? I'm not. I don't think I am. I don't think so. It's interesting because of using hyper propellant. There's actually, I can actually see why we might use. You know what? If this goes poorly, that's fine. Basically, I didn't really expect to be making changes on the fly like this, but it's not bad. I still personally believe that the way I had it set up before was probably the best one, but we're still going to have that for the next build, so that's fine. But I think this makes a bit more sense because of the way that hyperpropellant's kind of weird, in that there's not that many things that you are feel too comfortable using it against. Maybe it's not a bad idea to have a quite self-sufficient stubby. Speaking of which, I'm going to take that even more magazine size in Tier 5. I really didn't expect to be doing this. This isn't going to change though. Tier 4, armor breaking. Or is it going to change actually? No, it's I don't think I'm going to change that. So if I were to go to the other build quickly, armor breaking is important because it really helps out the shard diffractor to hit sort of weak points and just be better against certain enemies. In this case, we probably don't actually need it. But would it make more sense to take this? I don't know. I've made too many changes. I'm going to stick with armor breaking. So basically, this is just sort of a very basic setup. I feel like the electrocution is kind of the main thing because, yeah, this overclock's very ammo efficient, which kind of does give us actually a bit more leeway with the mods than I realised. That's kind of interesting. Born Ready. I'm going to quickly explain Born Ready. So why do we need Born Ready? Basically, you don't want to be caught in a situation where you basically shot all your platforms, or all platforms in the clip, and then of course you're going to switch to your stubby. So you can electrocute them. Chances are you're going to be doing that a lot based on the situation. Especially me, where I'm often placing platforms pragmatically. I do it in prep sometimes, especially on something like a salvage op, which is actually what we're going to be doing first anyway. But I am still doing it sort of in the moment sometimes, which means I'm going to be, using up a clip and then switching immediately to the stubby to electrocute them. And I don't want to be coming back to my platform gun when I might need it and have to reload it. So Born Ready is a very easy pick. Hyper-propellant. Why? An overclock that I don't actually like that much, which isn't true because I like using it. It feels great, but I kind of have a problem with its existence in a way. So the main reason why is because we have such an efficient crowd clearing primary weapon, which is kind of hard to come by an engineer. Really, the only ones are this. Turret aim discharge and explosive chemical rounds, and I don't really like using explosive chemical rounds because you don't get that many shots with it when using hyper propellant, because you rely on smart rifle more than you really would like to with that. But in this case, and I'm very glad to be able to say this, I'm actually comfortable using hyper propellant. It's easy to build. We take all ammo. That's easy. Those pressure wave, we don't really need high velocity grenades, or at least we don't need it compared to pressure wave because it just lets us hit enemies anywhere. Aside from oppressors and dreadnoughts, which we still have to hit in the weak point, but that's not going to be a problem. Tier 4 stun. Why is it stun? Should it be stun? I feel like it shouldn't be. That's kind of weird, But I can see why. I think the reason why is because that's actually really good against Praetorians. So I'm actually going to leave that as it is. I'm sure there's a reason why I did that. And Spike your grenade is, I don't even need to explain it. And that's pretty much the build. Shredders, why Shredders? Because they're just so all-purpose. That was actually one of the things, though, one of the reasons I came up with to make another build was actually the change of grenades. But I'll explain that once I get to it. We're going to be starting with an escort, no, not an escort duty, a salvage op, with more enemies ×2, which is scary, but I think I can do it. The only thing is I've got less stubby ammo than I'm used to, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm slightly confident. So let's just jump in. So I was kind of worried. Well, not worried, but I did a salvage op yesterday with the other build by mistake, and it kind of went badly. I still beat it, but it kind of went badly, and I think I know why. It's because when you're doing something like salvage op with this overclock, which involves a lot of waiting and preparation to sort of get that crowd clearing, you want something that's going to take care of single targets basically instantaneously, and that's hyper-propellant basically. The shard diffractor that we're going to be using is still very strong, but it's not as instantaneous. In things like, I'd say escort duty and salvage op, and maybe even industrial sabotage to take out, you know, instantly kill patrol bots and things like that, both during the caretaker fight and during hacking pod things. I think the instantaneous nature of hyperpropellant really shines, basically. Whereas I think the shard diffractor sort of shines in more sustained single target situations. Even though hyperpropellant's kind of amazing against dreadnoughts. But see, that's actually going to be the second mission. It's going to be elimination, which shouldn't surprise you. Elimination is my bread and butter for these videos. It's just so useful. It just helps me showcase pretty much everything I need. And what's really fun, not just about this overclock necessarily, but it is still useful specifically for elimination, but just, you know, electrocuting dreadnoughts and getting that damage bonus with the shard diffractor is a pretty wonderful thing. Anyway, I think I'm going to be able to cut a bit. Chances are I would have spent enough time in the starting room for some enemies to spawn, so I think I'll see you then. Alright, so we got some stuff. We got Bacterias, which are actually the kind of thing that we want to use Stubby against. I would say the exception is obviously Brundles and Grabbers. Not Brundles, Goobobs and Grabbers, although I do actually sometimes use hyperpropellant against Brundles, which is probably why I mentioned them there. Anyway, also this is a neat trick, so actually there you go, the actual electrocution effect, and I believe it's possible to get more than this. Yeah. So you can get multiple electric fields from one platform, which I think is very important. So that warden's just going to be killed by my... Well, actually not even. Would have been better if I got to it earlier. That one, I'm not going to use hyperpropellant against. I'm going to electrocute it. But yeah. I suppose I could do a bit of a demonstration, actually. Obviously that kind of worked, but I believe we should be able to get 4. You can proc an electrocution field anywhere on the platforms. So I don't know if you can get more than that. Oh, you can. So there's 5. But it is still slightly limited by space. So you can get 5 electric fields per platform. And I believe the damage does stack. Either way, the main thing that it lets you do is get just a bit of a wider reach with one platform. Mainly by doing this. It's sort of my preferred method of how I tend to use this overclock. You know, one on the left, one on the right. Gives us the most coverage, basically. Which I think is really neat. And I would love to see, I guess I'd like to see more overclocks that use the platforms, maybe. I don't know what you put it on. Obviously we got one on the shard diffractor. I don't know if the breach cutter could do anything. I guess it could carve the platforms and turn them into molten plasticrete or something. I don't know. There's stuff you could probably do. Anyway, let's push on. I'm sure this mission is going to justify very few cuts. You know, we got more enemies ×2. Not double enemies. It's actually 1.5 times enemies, but look, that's quite a lot still. And I guess sort of an unspoken facet of more enemies that I would assume most people don't know. I don't know that. That is an assumption, as I said, but it also increases the rank of a lot of enemies. So it also increases the frequency of higher tier enemies, which means you actually tend to get more guards and slashers than base grunts. Maybe not more than, but more than usual. More grunts than usual are slashers and guards. Anyway, is this probably not a shredder situation actually? That would probably be hyperbole or hyperbolic. So let's just drop a platform and deal with you swiftly. There we go. Where'd that warden go? Oh dear. What's going on here? Not much. Alright. Come on, fellas. Come on. Come on through. Hi. Okay. Borean. I'm here, I guess. Whoa. Hi. Anyway, I'm going to bother the Praetorian first. So, Praetorians are easy with this. Because you can use the platforms if you want to just keep them in place. You can honestly kill Praetorians with the platforms if you really want to. I'm not exactly going to be doing that. I don't know why he's not coming towards me. I don't know why nothing is coming towards me. Okay, whatever. Who are you? Right, there he is. Oop. Yeah, so one is actually never enough for Praetorian, which is why we kind of just need to use the platforms to finish them off, or just, you know, that. That works as well.
Out of my way.
Fuck it, just get and clean up from the shredders. Woo! Is it now? I guess we'll delete that. Oh, what the hell? I mean, the High Propellant would be overkill on a Scale Bramble anyway, which I almost wish it wasn't. I think the Scale Bramble, the main thing, should have more health, to be honest. There is obviously an element here of leading enemies onto platforms that you kind of need to engage with. Okay, I'm pretty sure that should have damaged that properly. I don't know why that didn't work. The armor breaking is supposed to be fixed. As far as I know. How about this one? Okay, he's just gonna run away. Come on, lads. Come on. Am I crazy? The enemy behavior feels specifically exceptionally schizophrenic. And high propellant is not working in the way that I'm expecting it to. It's shell backs. Who knows? Maybe something's in the water. Like, I genuinely don't know why I haven't been attacked by a large group of enemies yet. That's also kind of weirding me out. And I don't like it, because I need a large group of enemies to show this off. But I've already, like, sort of burnt through a bunch of ammo where it makes more sense to use shredders at this point. Do you know what I think's weird? I think the fact that not most people, but a lot of people don't actually do, like, the ammo economy thing, where they try and balance out how much they use of everything. I don't get that, because, in my opinion, I don't know how you can justify a resupply if you're not at least half ammo on everything except your tools. And in Engineer's case, that's different, because I count the turrets as weapons, so turrets need to be below half ammo as well for me to justify a resupply. Obviously that changes in dire situations, right? Which is why I don't think it's actually that weird. As long as I'm not on the complete back burner, I'm not taking resupplies just to give my primary more ammo. At the very least, both of my weapons are below 50% ammo. In fact, to some people, it's like just the weapon that they want is below 50%. It's like they can take a resupply. It's like, I don't know, man. That's not quite right, in my opinion. I think you're doing it wrong. Anyway, so this should definitely spawn some enemies doing this. As long as everything is in order.
Well done. The mule is working again.
Excuse me. Alright, fuck it. I'll see you when some enemies appear. Okay. Fuck it. Electrocution Nexus. It's like the Torment Nexus that they told us not to make. Sci-fi book. Why is it running? See, why are they running away? This keeps happening. They keep running away. I don't have repellent on, do I? No, of course I don't. Then why is that patrolling running? It has no reason to run away. Unless this overclock has some kind of fear effect that I'm not aware of. The answer is no. What's also interesting is the fact that an individual instance of the platform electrocution deals 600 damage total to a single enemy. If this patrolling were to stay on the platform the entire duration, it would be 600 damage it would take. But that's not going to happen because for some reason it's going to run away from me, even though I have no fear effects active. Am I going crazy? Am I actually... They're running away? Am I forgetting something really obvious about the game? I don't think I am. They're just running away. I mean, sometimes they're attacking, but most of the time they're just not bothering. Hey, you. Yes, you. Is it not acroed somehow? I'm so confused. What the fuck? No wonder this mission isn't going anywhere. They're just not attacking me. They're just not... Anyway, I'm going to fix up that other mule. Hopefully some actual enemies will spawn. Okay, some actual enemies did spawn, but it's all swarmers and exploders, which is just not that impressive when it comes to the platforms. Ah! Hi. That's what it's meant to do. That's what Hyperpellant's meant to do. To a shell back. I guess you can wait for it to open up. That would make more sense, I suppose. Right, where was that other mule? Yeah. What is it? More shredders and exploders. They're just spawning and just going nowhere. I don't understand what's happening with these enemies. I've never seen this kind of behaviour. See this dumbass Praetorian. He's probably just going to turn around. Fuck you. Idiot. Yeah, you can turn around after I shoot you with a grenade. That makes sense. That actually inflicts fear. Nonsense.
I need the mule right here.
What a nonsense mission. I mean, as far as the enemies go, I'm pretty sure I technically cursed myself by putting on more enemies too. But I don't see why it would replace grunts with, you know, swarmers and exploders. I don't really see why that would be the case. Well, guys, trust me, it's going to spawn a proper swarm. Where? Oh.
Mule is functional
Hi.
again. Great work.
Oh, oh my god. Here we go. Okay, aside from letting myself get hit by a splasher immediately, which is quite embarrassing, I think it went kind of well. I mean, it's almost something that doesn't need to be said. It's like, if you do catch a dense group of grunts in one of these electrocution fields, it's going to probably just kill them all. Looks like it's going to happen again. Oh, hello.
Weapon ready. Reloading.
Funny thing about hyper propellant, I've always kind of seen it for some reason as not having enough ammo. I don't think that's the case. I mean, maybe it could do with like one more round or something, maybe. But
Depositing.
the problem for me actually comes down to just the limitation of build, because you're just so limited. You really need, you know, a primary that can take care of crowds, which is not, you don't have that many options as engineer for primaries. That's actually the real problem with hyper propellant. I actually think aside from that kind of build issue, it's actually fine. It makes sense. Unlike Fat Boy, which is just, it's just too overkill to make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You kind of need a dense group of grunts that has at least 2 Praetorians in it, in my opinion, to justify a Fat Boy shot. Otherwise, you're just wasting it. Anyway, I think might as well
Platform up.
pull it in. Go on. Get back to the pod drop.
The mules are heading back. Follow them and let's get them.
At least now we actually get to the part of the mission that I, you know, wanted to do.
On the side of the drop.
Kind of the point. Doing a salvage op is this part.
Secondary objective complete. Make it home.
For MCA.
Bonus.
Hello. Hi.
All mules secured.
Oh my god.
Let's get the pod working. First, establish
Enemies.
the connection between the pod and the space rig. Set up the uplink.
Shield. Reloading.
Okay.
Thanks, Bosco.
That's fine. Ooh, Professor. How you doing? Well, what are you doing up there? Right. Right, just clean it up. Kill, 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 kill.
We are free from the oppression.
Okay. That works. Alright, I'm going to lay the platforms down before I actually take a resupply. This is what we do on Salvage Op with Micro-Conductor add-on.
Gotta wait for the recharge.
Cheese the place up.
Access provided. Platform plate.
Because As long as you haven't been cheated out of having any reasonable amount of nitro, you should have enough to basically be able to just, for the rest of the mission, just spam electrocution on the platforms until you're done, and it should keep you safe. Aside from, basically the idea is just to keep the platforms electrocuted as much as you can, and then we'll use the high propellant to take care of anything, basically anything that needs to die quickly or anything flying. Also, you know, in that category. So I think you can do this. Yeah. I mean, that's not safe because that actually can damage me, but oh well. Interesting, I suppose.
Ammo taken.
Resupply foot. Well, I was about to go to pause the recording. I got that, and now I just start electrocuting the platforms.
Do not leave the triangulation zone, or we will lose the connection. We only got one shot at this.
What a jaw-dropping experience!
Triangulation at 50%.
Reloading!
Triangulation at 75%. Almost there.
Boom, baby!
Okay, this actually is using up a lot of ammo. I kind of knew that would happen, but still, best to be mindful.
Restraining order!
Triangulation completed. Remote control reestablished. Stand by, sending in fresh fuel cells for the drop pod.
Okay. Well, it definitely worked.
Killer be killed!
Oh, that's actually in a nice place. Right, so... Well, kind of, actually. Walls like this actually aren't that great for this overclock. Put a platform here.
Fuel cells have arrived.
Need them over here as well.
The drop pod.
Resupply arrived! We'll restock!
This gone.
Fine!
Basically, I'll just have to cover the... Which, I think this should actually work fine.
Platform.
Put them there as well. Okay. I'll be the first to admit the platforms are a bit of a mess here. I have the aim of a god. The god of bad aiming.
No ammo left!
Wait, it's an actual dense group of enemies that are just all gonna die. Because when you think about it, the fact that at least half, well, you know, based on the 50% chance, about half of our bullets are going to cause these electrocutions, that's an insane amount of damage that could be caused by one bullet overall, and that's like, what makes it
Getting
just
supplies.
stupidly efficient.
Getting more ammo! Weapon ready!
Okay.
Reloading!
Fuel cells charging. Stay close to keep them operational. We're expecting an increase in hostiles.
Follow them! Hey, wait, there, John.
Okay, I'll admit, when we're spamming it like this, I actually do use Stubby ammo up pretty quickly, which is why I might take a more measured approach to the remainder of this. Just sort of put... It's useful to have the platforms everywhere, which means you don't have to place them pragmatically, but maybe I should electrocute more pragmatically. Honestly, with the amount of platforms I placed, it's almost hard to see going on.
You're almost there. You're jeopardizing the mission. You need to stay close to the fuel cells. At least one of you has to remain by the charging fuel cells. Get back there. Stay close to the fuel cells. You're jeopardizing the mission. You need to stay close to the fuel cells. At least one of you has to remain by the charging fuel cells. Get back there. You're jeopardizing the mission. You need to stay close to the fuel cells.
Let's show them some pain. Reloading.
Fuel cells fully
Okay.
charged. Drop pod in.
Now what? Do I spam my propellants? I don't think so. Weird. Okay, I definitely could have played it better, and we could have received better sort of groups of enemies, but I think it's still... Ooh, that hit the charger and the web space at the same time. I think I still proved something. I think you still saw what this Overclock is good at, which is dense groups of enemies and also just locking down pretty much any given target that you want that's not airborne. While still giving you enough ammo on the Stubby to just sort of play around with, take care of trash, or even activate damage bonuses, as we're going to be doing in the next mission. So it's extremely efficient and extremely effective. If you suck though, which I do, it doesn't feel like it.
Powering radiation shielding.
Your spinning days are over. Go towards my reloading.
Ecom operational.
Which of course brings up weaknesses. Flying enemies, a weakness which can be covered fairly easily by engineered secondaries. Pretty much all of them. Breach Cutter's probably the worst one, which is why I haven't really gone in for that on either of the builds. Especially certain airborne enemies, which obviously we're amazing against goo bombers and grabbers and probably even breeders, and that doesn't change with the shard diffractor either.
Time to bring it all home. Get on board. We're leaving with or without you. That's one for the books. Retrieving escape pod.
I'm trying to think of like sort of basically where I went wrong though at certain points and how to sort of remedy that. Just need to be aware of terrain as much as possible, and sort of be aware where the enemies are going before you actually start building platforms and electrocuting them. Which is why the spam isn't actually amazing. It just kind of worked. It worked. Obviously, it worked better when I had more ammo yesterday. Before I changed them. Well, this is the one that I changed, I suppose. I didn't change the other one. Yeah, I think that's still got something across. Oh, damn it. Why did it have to be magma core? Also, is there any good reason to possibly do tough enemies? Maybe. Maybe. I think that might be what we're going to do. Obviously, it's kind of sucks when it comes to like the twins. A little bit. It's not actually bad. It's actually not that bad at all, but still. So the other build, where is it? There you are. What's different here? Well, we got basically all the changes that I made undone, basically. This is a very generalist crowd clearing Stubby. We've got all ammo electrocution, and we've got electric arc. So even when we're using it for trash clear, we have that extra little bit of crowd control because we got a shard diffractor that's all in on single target. I really wanted this to be the overdrive booster build. You know, the fated overdrive booster build that I one day will have to face, because I'm just gonna have to do it at some point. Probably going to be probably going to happen when I actually have to do a video on overdrive booster, which will happen at some point. But I just can't. It's so shit. I think it's such an awful overclock. And basically, it's very hard to convince me that it's not, because you can probably just like put forward a very like reasonable argument for why overdrive booster is actually good, and I will just disagree because I just won't feel the same way. It's kind of frustrating, actually. I genuinely think it's that bad. So we've actually taken efficiency tweaks and we've gone all in on damage, except for, I guess, nitrogen vaporizer, because that fire is just always going to be better. I don't know why, it kind of just is. Which I wouldn't normally actually go for damage in tier 1. In fact, I'm going to switch this back to how it normally is, which is ammo in tier 1. But I've actually found it to be really nice, because of how efficient MCA is, to actually just have a much snappier and deadly shard diffractor. Feels really great. It kind of just tears through things, especially smaller enemies. It's kind of crazy. It feels really good. It runs out of ammo kind of quickly, but as long as we're using hydrogen rupturing, which we are, but as long as we're actually using it in practice, we're sitting pretty. So the difference between the grenades, though, plasma bursters. Why plasma bursters? Plasma bursters are just a really great fear tool. We don't have much crowd control in this version, aside from obviously MCA by itself. I'm also talking about things like Praetorians. That's kind of it, actually. But I found it to be actually a nice difference between the two. It feels right. Also, doesn't this guy look great? I'm not crazy, am I? This is a good looking dwarf, right? Much like, where is he? Well, him of course, but this guy. Look at that. Oh, chef's kiss. But yeah, so this is going to be the elimination one, and that's because of hydrogen rupturing. Obviously, this has kind of been the way it is for a while now. In fact, in only 3 months, it would have actually been a year. So actually, 3/4 of a year since this actually happened. But the change that they made in the November maintenance update last year to let oppressors and dreadnoughts be electrocuted has changed a lot. It's done a lot for the Stubby and for other weapons where you want to use electrocution, like the smart rifle or the Drac. And conversely, it's done a lot for electrocution damage bonuses. I would say the most prominent example is this one, is hydrogen rupturing on the shard diffractor. So we're going to see that in play. Obviously, it's going to be somewhat skewered by tough enemies, but you're just going to have to deal with that. Or I'm going to have to deal with it more so. But basically what I'm saying is if this is easy, then that's actually very good evidence for how good this build is. And obviously we're going to be employing the very great skill that MCA has of just locking down enemies, doing good slowdown and damage over time to them. Which we will see, of course, on at least one of the dreadnoughts, and even if we do get the twins, the platforms are still pretty good against the lacerator because it's on the ground all the time, so we'll be all right. Also, I can hear that we've got a breeder, which is actually a good thing. Well, it's good for the showcase. It's not good for me.
Go! Get to one!
Okay.
Come here.
Right, we've got a room of things.
Ready to be built. Armed and ready.
So this is going to be a bit more of a showing of the electrocution damage bonus more than anything else. But at the same time, when applicable, it's actually very useful to use platforms for this kind of thing anyway. Because the platform electrocution just lasts so much longer than the normal electrocution that the Stubby does. 20 seconds versus 4 seconds? I'm actually not sure how long the Stubby normally electrocutes for precisely. So this is bad. Less of that, please. I said less of that. Even when you're not using bug repellent, enemies are very good at avoiding your platforms. It's something I found from using this overclock. Oh, Praetorian, hi. So, Praetorian, we will do this to. Wait, you're supposed to be electrocuted, you know that, right? No, you are supposed to be electrocuted, thank you. And you're not supposed to hurt me. That's not the deal. I guess this is probably more relatable than I realised, but I kind of had this thing where I kind of get rusty at video games even when I've been playing them a lot. I guess it's just the idea of just not being on the ball 100% of the time. And look, it wouldn't be beneficial for me to, you know, put myself through more of this to get, you know, get missions where I am on the ball. I would just get worse and worse, I think, the more I tried to do that. God, barrage infectors are kind of assholes, especially with tough enemies. Lord. One more tunnel. I want to do that? I think I do. If I do this and this, I think this should do it. Apart from these idiots, somehow managed to avoid it. Okay. Right, there's no dreadnoughts here. I'm just gonna collect some nitro. Unless some enemies spawn, and now you're gonna see Elimination be the best mission. Although not exactly when all it spawns are exploders, which are basically, you know, you can basically kill them for free. Like a single pickaxe hit could have probably killed all of them. So not actually that great. Ooh.
Your time is up, Craig.
Okay, so from the sounds of that, pressure wave just spawns all exploders again. Fate is not on my side. Okay. Okay, I say that we've still had a couple good moments, but you know, in a video that's probably going to be at least an hour long, we want more than a couple good moments, I think. Let's skip to one. The warden up there.
Sentry gun needs assembly. I was born ready. What? This? Make every bullet count. Transform. Weapon ready. I made a platform. Damn flares could need an upgrade.
Like, ah!
Stay clear of the explosive blast.
Fuck off.
The smell. It lingers. The dirt. It's gonna explode. Reloading.
Right, will that kill it? I think damage over time will kill it now. Brilliant. Alright, that wasn't bad.
Okay.
Anyway, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there is a dreadnought in this room, so I'm trying to at least say make the bacon or bring home the bacon, whatever they're saying.
Go. Get to work. Resupply ordered.
Roger that.
It's
Supply
up here.
coming.
Assembly. Sentry.
And bring it on. Twins? Oh, normal dreadnought. Perfect. Okay. What I'm going to do is just put a bunch of these down. So we're safe.
Weapon ready.
I could have seen that coming. Bastard is somehow isn't electrocuted. Literally standing on an electrified platform. Okay. Oh, I have more ammo than I thought. You know what? That was fine. I think that was actually quite clearly fairly efficient. Right, I need to resupply.
Getting more ammo.
Do I want to justify a resupply? Where'd you come from?
Gotta wait for the recharge.
You know, electrocute to death. Not interested in sharding you. Ah! Why? Because we can. I might just destroy the dreadnought shield with the platforms alone. I think that's a terrible idea. Right, it's gone. Okay. It was, yeah. When we're actually doing it wonderful. Works wonderfully.
Watch out! Reloading.
Perfect. Oh, you don't know what you've done to yourself. There we go.
Plasma burster!
What did you shoot that over there? The hell? I think I'm noticing I don't think the damage does stack against a single enemy from the electric fields. I think it's not being electrocuted sometimes when it's standing directly on them. Oh man, look at that! What is that? Dumb. You stupid. Oh, you stupid. Okay.
Reloading.
It still worked quite well. I think that was obvious. We got the damage bonus was very clear. The slowdown worked okay. Definitely got decent damage from the electrocution field, like straight up. That I was actually quite impressed by, especially for tough enemies. So I'm definitely not disappointed. If anything, I'm disappointed in myself for not being. Let's have a look around. I can hear some kind of group. So I want to muse a little bit on what's going to happen through these videos in the coming weeks. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, it's kind of like a season finale. Overclock Showcase will actually resume quickly. What I am going to do, so basically, once this video is out, the Thursday after it comes out, I'm going to start with the weapon maintenance showcases. So that's for the 3 new weapon maintenance paint jobs, and that will be on, you know, this Thursday, following Tuesday, and the following Thursday after that. And then I might take a break. I mean, there might be a week break, and then there'll be Overclock showcases consistently every other Tuesday after that. And these will be Overclock showcases for all of the existing overclocks in the game. That is what I want to do. I still haven't quite figured out how exactly I want to do that in terms of like choosing the overclocks. I don't know how I really want to choose them. I was thinking of using a random number generator, but I don't know how to assign the numbers, you know, to the overclocks. But I might just do it in class order. It's going to be fairly banal, but I think it's actually the best direction to go. So that does mean we'd be starting with the Warthogs clean, and then like the miniguns cleans. But I actually don't think that's a bad thing at all. And there will be repetition there, but obviously it means the last thing will be Bodkin points. But that will be in like literally years, so it actually won't be. It'll be whatever. No, it probably could still be Bodkin points. Who knows what the bulk chart's going to get in Season 6. Assuming that's what's happening, I think it's pretty safe to assume that that's what's going to happen in Season 6. Overclocks for the secondary weapons. What is with these groups of just swarmers and exploders? Very strange. Very strange RNG.
Grabbing ammo. One platform ready to use.
Hi. Okay. There you go. Alright, let's go find the other dreadnought. Okay, I just realised there's definitely going to be stuff on the other side of this dirt. Okay. Looky here. Hello, fellas. Hello. Perfect. Yeah. I just gonna. Of course I did. Of course I did. Because you're not allowed to prioritize enemies sometimes. You just have to, you know, just spam. It's everything, and end up not killing anything. Get out of here. Leave. You. Because we're not fighting them in here. Them. I just assumed it was going to be the twins. Right, I'm going to... Okay, I thought I had shredders. I'm going to retreat to this room, set up my turrets, and then we're going to wait for the Hive Guard and the Sentinels to appear. Yeah, I'm just going to take a resupply straight away. I'm going to put another one here, because I'm stupid.
Supply drop has been ordered and is on the way.
And we can set up, obviously, this should be a good one because Sentinels we can absolutely use our platforms against. Backdoor.
Armed and ready.
They're here already. Well, I was going to have to actually cut to when they appeared. This usually takes so long. I wonder if they even realise that they're being killed. Okay, but now we do actually have to wait for the Hive Guard to appear. I kind of want to actually meet it. Maybe around here. There it is. I don't think the platform will really do much in this scenario. I mean, it won't do anything if the dreadnought literally doesn't move, but I knew it wasn't going to damage, but I don't know if that's activating the damage bonus hydrogen rupturing on. If it is, then we've got something going on. But I just don't, you know, I don't know. But I've forgotten how to play. I think we do activate the damage bonus, because it's technically electrocuted, but I genuinely don't know. I think it's important that people can admit when they don't know something.
Locked and loaded.
Bro, I need you to stay still. I need you. Fuck. This is the moment. As painful as this section can be for Hive Guard, the best part about it is you only have to do it 3 times. Oh, I thought that was the third one. Okay. Laser this idiot down. Then. Ooh. 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 It's gonna kill me now. Oh my god, it didn't. Oh. What might kill me? Hot rocks. I like platforms, my god. I do. Let's just sit here in a place of comfort. No, he's not actually taking damage from the platform. No, he was. He literally hasn't moved. And it stopped taking damage from the platform. Come on, ghost ship. That wasn't right. I think that's like, clearly not right. It literally was standing in the electric field, being electrocuted, and then it just stopped. Didn't move. Hive Guard hadn't moved. Which is suffice to say, I think this is still overall going well, and we're still seeing the strengths and what this Overclock can do. I don't like it that much. Sometimes I do really like it. I don't like it right now. I don't like it in this recording. It's really annoying me. But I think it's actually sort of just the RNG of the game itself. Yeah, that was probably going to happen at some point.
Born ready.
That went much better at that final stage. That's basically what I wanted the whole time. Which I guess this is how you use Micro-Conductor add-on for single target. You pair it with something that does single target. That's because it's just good at control. Okay, I suppose what really didn't happen, it wasn't good at like controlling the Dreadnought. It did some okay damage over time, but it wasn't really slowing them down particularly. It definitely was, and you saw that most in like the Hive Guard's turning speed, for example, was actually slowed quite a bit. This is why I thought I could actually get around it when it was turning. You still can't. You have to like sort of trick it basically, and they go the direction that you wouldn't normally want to go. What does Overclock isn't good is actually, well, you know, deep scan, not great. I think that's probably quite obvious why though. What I thought about doing, which is kind of stupid, was using this and Plastic Catalyst in the same build. Basically, you know, that would be the true platform guy. Who knows? Might be a build showcase at some point. It's not a good idea though. I don't see it being a good idea. It's probably really bad actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it was really bad.
One down.
Right, I'm not going to use the explosive plants because that's cheap. I'm going to use platforms.
T-minus 4 minutes.
No tail ready.
Badly. That was not a good use. Oh wow.
Secured. Initiating launch
Hey.
sequence. Galactic thanks you for your good work. Drop pod will leave with or without you.
That's what's meant to happen to Praetorians. Even though it took a while, I think in a roundabout way you've seen what the Overclock can do. You've seen its strength, you've seen its weaknesses too. I think its weaknesses just come down to if you're not adjusted to the playstyle that it demands, which is a pragmatic one, and you need to sort of be very aware of terrain and where enemies might go and where they are going and things like that. When you adjust to it, you can be extremely efficient and extremely powerful. So it's more than worth checking out. It's probably objectively the strongest overclock on the Stubby. Ian Refire Booster still wins out for me, and it probably always will. It's just really good. But MCA Micro-Conductor add-on is a really fresh and fun rework. It's the kind of rework that I would love to see for more things like Neuro Lasso, for example, and Smart Rifle is an overclock that really deserves a rework of a similar caliber. You know, add neurotoxin to it. That's what you've got to do to that overclock. I mean, I want it for Overdrive Booster, but obviously really no one else does. Electro Mindlets, even. I know what I would do to Electro Mindlets, by the way. I have an amazing idea for that. I might as well say it now. Electro Mindlets is the worst overclock in the game because it basically tries to use a stacking electrocution, like a stacking status effect on a non-stacking status effect on a burst weapon, which is inherently stupid. So astronomically dumb. I want to use like the R word to describe that stupid. But if they basically worked like taser bolts and increased the spread of the weapon, you get some really cool effects. You'd basically be creating electric like taser triangles every time you shoot, which would obviously require more penalties, definitely an ammo penalty, but it could actually be genuinely really cool. And you get some pretty crazy single target damage as well by like hitting one enemy with like a taser triangle. It'd be really, really interesting and cool and fun. As it stands though, it's the worst overclock in the game, so do something. There's something you can do there. Anyway, Micro-Conductor add-on. It's great. It's fun, but it demands a particular playstyle. It absolutely is worthy of attention. I definitely recommend it. I recommend trying both of the builds I showcased. I recommend trying it out for yourself. And what I also recommend is liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this and stay on top of everything to do with Deep Rock and Rogue Core, then also hit that bell. That'll be it. Thank you once again for, you know, the subscribers. Thank you for all the support and everything, basically. Thank you. And I will see you on Thursday. To showcase, what's it called? Liberty, I think? Weapon Maintenance 5.1. Liberty. Great. So it's not that great. I mean, none of them are. Dragon Scale's kind of interesting, and Heavy Metal is like kind of generic but good. I don't know. You're gonna do it though. Right. I'll see you then. Thank you.